in that poor reflection was timid, a quiet silhouette pressed flat against the frame. Eyes turned down, shoulders pulled into themselves, every flaw lit softly by a dull, indifferent flame. Long before I found the courage, but I hadn't asked the question that it tried to quietly show. So I walked past silver surfaces like they were empty doors, afraid that one clear look would be the one to overflow. I feared the simple truth that glass can gently offer, the way it strips away excuses with a single ruthless glance. I carried stories on my back that were written by old voices, and I mistook their faded ink for an unchangeable stance. Stance. Over time my image shifted in the corridor of days, not by sudden lightning strikes, but slow and steady turns. I dared to look a little longer at the trembling of my outline, and felt a distant courage smolder deep where doubt still burns. I let the early light fall softly on the quiet of my face, saw the strength inside, the tremor in my hands. Bit by bit, the fear began to loosen at the edges, as I learned that broken hearts can still redraw their plans. So I stood again before that fragile, faithful mirror, letting every scar and shadow rise into the frame. The timid figure softened and straightened in the silence, as I whispered brand new stories over every borrowed name. Finally I saw myself, the outline growing brighter, the image of a man who stepped out from the shade, one who learned his worth was never in the blur around his features, but in the quiet, steady courage of the soul he had remade. This is not a tale of potions or of distant shining kingdoms, not a spellbound glass that twists the truth you know. This is no fairy tale magic spun from smoke and easy wishes. It is the slow, unvarnished rising of a self that had to grow. This is reality reflected in a thin, unblinking window, where every doubt and hope stands side by side in view. The mirror does not flatter and it does not turn away, it simply shows again and always what is quietly, fiercely true. So when you meet your own gaze in the stillness of that surface, and feel your heart retreat from what you're terrified to see, remember how a shadow can become a brighter figure, how a single patient look can set a frightened soul more free. The mirror shows you nothing more than what you bring before it. It's somehow that is everything you secretly need to know, for in the honest light of your unguarded reflection, you find the part of you that finally chooses to grow.